Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back to finish off my calendar, my Perpetual fabric calendar for January. So the bottom section's all done. You can see I've already started using it and popping some of my ideas down, writing with my black Frixion marker that erases with heat. But I wanted to focus in this video on finishing up the top pieces. So I've got the lovely Stitchery swaps that I received from my stitchy friends, and in the last episode I was collaging down fabric, and since then I have done stitching over the top of the fabric, which I'll show you. But let's actually start there, and then I've got my collage ready to go here, but I haven't stitched it yet, so I thought we could do that in today's episode as well. And then after that, at the end, I've got two other fun ideas that can be progressive little projects, either on a daily or weekly or whatever sort of basis you want to do them. So stay tuned for those fun ideas. So let's start by having a look at the Stitchery swap square I created for Kim. So in the last video I shared how I had transferred the photo of the squares I'd created for the people who had sent me their squares, and then I used scraps of fabric and threads that I had saved from the projects that I stitched for them to make a collaged frame. And so just randomly sticking them down using my trusty Yoo-hoo glue, and then post that I used one of my metallic threads. Not sure, I think this is a vintage one, it says made in West Germany, and it's a multicolored, so it's a sort of a rainbow metallic, but it's quite good because it doesn't really unravel and it's quite easy to work with and quite strong. And so I just did a lot of fun decorative stitching, so fan shapes, little triangular shapes, little cross ones going around these. So yeah, just a lot of fun stitching, and I just absolutely adore it. So it's going to be a really fun, like an advent calendar, sort of flipping it up and seeing what's underneath and having that photo as a memory. But really the fabrics are so much brighter than even the photo is, so you can kind of get a real sense of what the square was like, and even the little Ort thread little bundle there. So yeah, really happy with how all of that turned out. I've actually got in fact we'll do that now, because I just stuck this little bit on the top because there was a little bit where I hadn't fully collaged up to the top. So let's actually just get that stitched down while we're here. So I hope you're having a great day or a great evening. It is Thursday, feels like a Tuesday because we had the public holiday for Boxing Day and obviously had Christmas Day, so it's been a shorter week, but I won't complain about that. I've been working, but thankfully it hasn't been crazy. I've had a few things I wanted to get done and I got them done, so that was good before the year goes too nuts. Now what do I want to do? I think I might do one of the fan type shapes. That could be nice in the corner. So I'm just doing a long stitch down, long stitch, won't go too far across, and then so I don't waste thread, I'll just pop up just a bit along from where I went down and go back to here, and then I'll just come out from a slightly different hole so that I can just stay close by and do the next stitch maybe down like this. And so with this stitching, it's decorative stitching, but it's also holding those pieces that were just temporarily tacked down with the Yoo-hoo glue. So it just holds them, then anchors them in place. So yeah, that's created a lovely little, like a little sun, I guess. So I will tie that off on the back. You can see how much of the stitching I've done as I worked my way around. So that's an example of doing sort of visible over stitching, which obviously, yeah, when you've got a beautiful metallic thread or something, and it just adds to the brightness of the design. And then on the next piece I'll be showing you it's more invisible stitching, but with a bit of visible stitching as well. Let me just put that over there. So, get rid of my metallic thread. Oops, I just found a needle that I stuck my finger into. Not sure quite what that was doing there. So this is then the beautiful piece from Heidi, and the piece I sent to Heidi. So again, just absolutely, yeah, love how that turned out, with all the laces overlaying the fabrics and the echoing of some of the elements like the flower element. I decided not to put the measuring tape on because I'm happy how the measuring tape looks in the picture. And yeah, just decorative stitching. A lot of it was just invisible stitch, but I did some little seed stitches around the outline of this little blossom. I did some stitches over the flower. I did some of my favourite German knotted stitch down here that looks like little people, little legs. But then up here it was just done, yeah, in a more invisible way. But everything's very securely held down. Don't worry about the marks where I've marked the Frixion marker on. I will be taking that off with the hairdryer. I just left that while I was finishing my stitching. And I've added a button to that and another little, yeah, thread knot. But yeah, really happy with that layering, and I just think it's so pretty. I'm going to have to think about doing some of this sort of framing on some other pieces as well. And finally, the piece that is from the gorgeous Annie Claxton. And so, yeah, I'd collaged down the pieces, but I still want to add a few more pieces. I want to put this, which were some of the threads from her piece. I'm thinking the piece that I made for her, I'm thinking I'll put that up there. And I've also got a few of the little pom-poms that hung across the top, so I thought I might intersperse some of those in there as well. Let's do that. Put a pink one, I think, as well, and that'll be a nice selection. Then I've got all the colours that were there, just in reverse order across the top. Maybe I should put them in the same order that they are in the photo. So I can probably start by stitching that down. Let me just move these off to my scrap jar over there. Put my scissors over here for a moment. I'm just going to turn the piece around because I think that will make it easier for stitching. And so yeah, I've brought over and used a scrap of the little lady from the fabric as well, which I did a lot of over stitching on, but here it's just sort of, yeah, left plain. But I thought that's a bit of fun. And then yeah, that fabric from there. So I just love it, and the rick-rack, which I'd use down here. So a lot of fun, and I love this fabric. It's so fine. It might even be a Liberty, I'm not sure. It's just a scrap I had. So I was thinking I might use blues and yellows. I might actually just use the yellow. I think that could be nice and cheery. This is a lovely Orifil made in Italy. Lovely cotton to stitch with. So yeah, got ideas galore going around in my head. Just shared a little short video, which I'll load up and post a bit later, of how I store my fabrics vertically. That was in response to a question from the lovely Joanne. But yeah, lots of projects that I want to do. So maybe, just thinking what I want to do here, I'll go up the side, but then I might put some other seed stitches into. So if I wanted it to be invisible here, I could have used a white cotton, but I just want to make sure, sorry, I just bumped the camera. I want to make sure that the edges are nicely adhered down. So yes, I've got two other fun little ideas that will decorate these pages as the year goes on and over multiple years as well. So I will be sharing that with you towards the end of this video. But once this piece is stitched down, then we are ready to, yeah, put this up for January. So really pleased I got it done, despite all the Christmas festivities. Now here I might just leave the design and just put some stitches in between, more like little seed stitches. I don't even have to do them on the straight. I can do them on different angles. Just need to keep this in so it doesn't poke out from behind the lacy piece. Got the window open, sorry, so you can hear the little local bus going by. I do love adding threads to my projects, and yeah, one of the ideas I'm going to be sharing, which was actually an idea from another lovely, from Kim, who's part of our little Facebook group, the group that originally started as part of the Stitchalong, but now just a place for stitchy friendships. And I've got something very exciting to share as well as part of our stitchy friendships, because it's something that our lovely little community's been hoping we can do next year. So I've just been plotting and planning, so stand by for that too. Just got to work out the tech first and then we'll go from there. I just want to get enough little stitches through this section that it will be anchored down. So I usually just sort of pick up the threads, a few of the threads, and if I need to I twist them around a bit, but just pick them up and then anchor them down with my thread, almost sort of wrapping the thread around them a little bit. And this one I will do the same with. So just catching the ends, the tails of the little pom-pom. So I left those tails on just to make it easier for me. That way I don't have to go through the little pom-pom. I don't know where that pom-pom, maybe it's actually in my wool collection. Got to sort through my wools. It'd be good to put some of it on my little cardboard fabric cards so that it's readily available. It's a very cute little pom-pom. Oh, that's right, when I put them on the piece I actually tied them together and they formed a full little pom-pom shape, but I'm happy to have them in their original form here. And put some more little stitches through, make sure this feels pretty secure. It feels pretty good, I think. It's not going to be poking out, and it will sit flat enough, which is good. So let's continue our way then, putting some stitches in place. So I think I might just do some little seed stitches in here, or maybe I'll even do some little crosses or little stars. This is a variegated thread, so it's actually now just changed to a white. Just before I came on, I was watching Annie, Arty Farty Annie, who's this piece was for, and the piece on the front, the gorgeous bird and flower piece. She was opening yet more Stitchery swaps that she had received as part of this round, so it's just so nice. And she was talking about yeah, just how much having this creative outlet means to her, and having the sort of the videos as a way of yeah, connecting to people, but also having that sort of sense of purpose around sharing ideas and inspiration, and how much it means when people say that something that you've done has made a difference to them and given them the sort of the courage or the inspiration to try something. And yeah, it is so true. And how much our crafts get us through those harder times, or those tough times, or those stressful times. And every word she said, absolutely spot on. She really articulated it. Yeah, we both, I think, yeah, Annie and I have really bonded over our sense of community and really caring about other people and wanting to connect through this medium. And it has been amazing. It's been an amazing year. So this is my beautiful Nana's Rick Rack, which is lovely to know that it's sitting out there on Annie's piece and on so many other pieces as well, that it's travelled the world. I'm sure Nana would be stoked. In fact, I was working on something just while I was waiting for dinner to cook, and I was saying to my partner that Nana would have just loved to have seen me, doing all these pieces. She would have just been so enthralled by it all. I'm sure she would have wanted to join in, and I would have got her to join in because, speaking of people that, valued community, they were absolute community champions. So putting some little petally frondy stitches. I like to do that out from flowers, just adds extra little delicate elements. Could probably do a little French knot in the middle too, I think I'll do. But the bonus with these decorative stitches is it's also just holding the pieces of fabric in place as well. So let's just do a little French knot, do a few wraps because it's quite a thin thread. There's the French knot centre, and then what will I do? Maybe I'll do just like some little grasses or something going down. Do them at different... Oops, starting to run out of thread, but that's okay. So if you finished eating your Christmas leftovers, we're almost... I think we've just got a bit of dip left, but it wasn't dip that went out on Christmas Day. And still got some ham, but not too much. We just had a small ham. Got a little bit of brandy cream that Mum makes. Mum brought all the desserts, and oh yum, brandy cream, I love it. Even on Boxing Day, I always have a little bit of brandy cream in my morning coffee. Just doing some little leaves down here coming off the grass. In fact, maybe I should extend this one up so it's like a stem up to the flower. And then I think I'll need to put some more thread on because I think we're almost out of thread. But the great thing about this calendar is I can just work on the upcoming month in the month before it, so I don't have to rush to get all the months done. And in fact, I don't even have all the Stitchery swaps for an entire year's worth. So it's good to hear that Addie has said that she'll be kicking off some more Stitchery swaps in the future. I think she's talking April, and maybe was she saying October? So yeah, I'll just do a few swaps in each of those. So if anyone hasn't swapped with me and might like that, keep an eye out probably around March. It's going to be a busy March actually, because we'll be heading up to the Fleur Woods workshop, and then we've got a week in beautiful Alpine Victoria on our way home. Where was I? Sorry, I'm just getting distracted thinking, where was I up to stitching? And then I think Easter's happening at the end of March this year, so it will be a busy March. So I'm just putting in some little V shapes at the bottom of the little stems or little bits of grass that I added in. Just like little leaves. But I don't have to put them on all, that's probably enough there. So that's all stitched down. I'll probably just put some little random stitches in here just to hold this side of the fabric down. Just put some more little seed stitches in down here. And then, yeah, I think I'll just take my little running stitch down this side of it. But yeah, when you're sort of doing this, this stitching down, you can just do whatever mark making you want on your pieces. It's all just going to add nice little detail. And yeah, just this cantha or running stitch, whatever you want to call it. It's just, yeah, very effective little decorative / mark making stitch. Seed stitch is really just a random form of running stitch as well, at more random angles. Now I should, as I go by, stitch the crown down, I think. Although actually I'll still need to come up anyway to stitch down these bits of fabric as well. It's always a bit harder holding it when I'm holding it for the camera. Normally I'd be sort of bent over it, so just having to be a bit more haphazard with my stitches. So I might go up and I might just put a little decorative stitch on the top, maybe like a little V down there. Wondering if I've got even a little bead or something here to use. Oh, yes, I do. See, it's great having little things sitting by your desk because then you can always. Is that too big? That's probably a little bit on the big side. Smaller ones, maybe just a nice little pearly one. Yeah, that will do the trick. Okay, beautiful. Probably should just put an extra stitch in that just to be sure. Not that this calendar is going to be having that much harsh action on it. It will just be up on the pin board, ready to be written on. Oops, those little beads came off. So I was going to, while I'm up here, stitch down the crown. So I did a similar little crown, but I only used the top section of it on the actual piece that I sent to Annie. But I thought, what fun to add another little crown on this piece. It's a fun way actually to remember the embellishment that you've done on something, to have these little sample pieces. And in fact, this is inspired then another one of the little fun ideas I'm going to share with you at the end. Okay, and then I'll just put a few little stitches in to hold this piece down. I just do some little long stitches coming down from the tree. Just like little stamens or something coming out from the flower. Maybe I'll add a few more in, like a little collection of 3 of them coming out from each flower. Something about it, 3 always sometimes looks better than just 1. Looks more purposeful or something. probably need to do something along the top as well, so I might just do a little zigzag or something. So it does take a little bit of time to do this, but it's actually a really relaxing way of stitching because you're not having to be terribly particular. You're really just trying to attach down your different edges. But having the Yoo-hoo glue means you don't have to have all these tiny little pins stuck in. You're not jabbing yourself. They just stay in place enough until you've got them stitched. But you can very easily lift, as you can see at this corner, you can very easily lift the pieces off until they're stitched down. So the Yoo-hoo glue is just being a good little temporary fixative. But also probably stopping the pieces from running at the edges, which is handy. So we'll just need to finish stitching around the bottom and the left-hand side. The good thing about the picture in the middle is it doesn't need stitching, because it's onto the piece of calico that forms the base of this, so it is getting stitched down in the process. Okay, I might need to turn on the side again. So, how do I want to stitch my dress down? Maybe I'll do a little stitch across the bottom. Maybe I will do, just wondering if I should do a little blanket stitch maybe. Doing it in 2 movements rather than a single one, just because it's going to be easier that way. So I'm going down and then just popping up below that stitch. But always putting the thread over the needle so I get my little loop. Oops. Almost unthreaded my needle. How did I do that? I have so much thread. Now why is the thread getting so twisty on me? Oops, did I actually catch that one? I don't think I did. There we go. Caught that one now. Oops, let's just get that piece of fabric under the skirt. Oops. Just need to get that to go underneath. Under you go, fabric. Might just put a little stitch in while we're here, just to anchor that down. Okay, and then back to continue our blanket stitch. And over to here. Okay, and then along here I might just do some more little grassy shapes, I think, just to hold these pieces down with some little Ouch. Just like some little leaf shapes. French knot at the top of this one, like a little flower. Try and do a looser sort of French knot with a few wraps just so it looks like a more substantial little flower. Sounds like there's a light plane going overhead. Don't often get planes here. Unless it's a helicopter, I don't know. Oops. And we have unthreaded. That happens often here. Just put a stitch down that goes off across a couple of pieces at the one time. Put some little leaf shapes in. So hopefully this has given you some ideas how you can use even your smallest scraps to make beautiful little features. Probably need to actually tie off on the back because otherwise I am going to unthread again, and so I'll just get a bit more thread. The thread is not that scarce that I can't use it, and I do have a purpose even for my little taily endy pieces, which we will come to. So make sure I leave some time at the end to get to that. I have my scissors gone. Okay, another piece. Okay, oops, where's that piece? Did I manage to leave a tail that I didn't actually use there? That is so funny. Must have caught on the table or something. Let me just tie that off so that doesn't go wandering. Okay, just cut that off for now. And I'll just put a few more little stitches down along the bottom here, and then we'll work our way around and just up the other side, and then I can talk about my other little plans, little companion pieces that could also be done standalone as well. Yeah, it's going to be great to have this little ideas panel because I just have so many ideas whirring around. Put another little leaf or something in here. I love how each of these little square collages are just as different as each of the Stitchery squares as well. It was fun using lots of different styles and colours, and I know that Annie loves her colours, so it was fun adding lots of colours into this piece. Oops. Put Another little piece stitch in, which will hold down a few bits of fabric all in the one go. Another one at the corner here, and then the corner will be nicely anchored down. And then I just need to do some stitches up here. I might even just do some little, maybe just little dashes across. These can almost be invisible sort of stitches. Just capturing enough of this to hold it in place, and with the added bonus of holding the fabric in place underneath at the same time. And then up here I might just do a little, maybe a little back stitch going up, or maybe even just a running stitch actually, just going up the stem here. Dog barking at someone outside. Not our dog. He'll be sleeping happily on the couch. Alex is probably sleeping happily on the couch. I came down last night and they were both sleeping happily on the couch at 11 o'clock, and I tried to wake up Alex, but I don't think he actually managed to get himself off the couch until about 12 o'clock. I was soundly asleep by then. Ouch. Just managed to prick my finger. I think I do prick my finger a lot more in these videos because I'm usually holding it so that you can see, but yeah, not always in the best position for myself, but that's okay. There's worse. That's very much a first world problem to be pricking your finger. So let's put some little stitches around the outline here. And then I'll take a stitch up to hold this little corner piece in place, and I might just put a little cross stitch up here, or a large cross actually. Maybe I'll even, oops, that's just pulled that down a bit. Don't want to do that. Let's just loosen. If that happens, I might just need to put a little stitch up the top to hold that thread up a little bit. That's better. And then I might even just do a little cross to make it an asterisk, little star shape. Oops. Trick is not to pull the thread too tight and crunch up the fabric. Just want to hold it. Perfect, and I can always just put a little stitch in this side as well, just to anchor that thread. Great, so I think everything is anchored down. Did I get a, maybe I'll just put a little French knot in here to hold that piece down. Oops, pulled my thread out. And I might do another little couple of French knots across here, hopefully without unthreading my thread each time. Pop one in here. And maybe pop one over here. They're like the thread version of little nails. Gets harder to do them when you're getting towards the end of your thread. You don't have as much space to be twisting around. Oops. Okay, so there we go. So I think we're going to call that a day on the stitching on that. Okay, put our needle away so we don't lose it. And that is, let me move it into frame. So that's our lovely little square from Annie. And then that's what it opens up to, which I think is very cute. Everything's securely stitched down, which is lovely, and even got this very tactile pieces. Even with the stitching, it's very tactile. So I hope you like that, and that's the rest of the calendar. But you can see in previous videos what's gone into creating that. And so a calendar with gorgeous Stitchery friendship swaps, and that will be going up next to me on my pin board, and then I can just change it over each month, and every year I'll get to enjoy it, and all I have to do to remove any of the writing, which I've done with my Frixion marker, is apply heat and it will disappear. But at the end of each month I will take a photo, so I've got a record of what I have done, and I'll probably end up putting a little pocket on the back, which I can then use to keep the photo, print out of the photo in. So I'll bring you over to show you my other ideas for this, and one of them I need to thank the lovely Kim Schrader for, because she mentioned that she had a little tutorial page on how she's constructing these. I must admit I went sort of off-piste and did my own version of them, but they are Ort jar, so Orts being the threads that you get left over when you are stitching. Let me grab those out actually. And then making little beads out of them. And what I'm planning to do is have a bead a day and to put them into a little garland. So I think what Kim was doing was putting them interspersed with other beads, but what I'll probably do is just use like a crochet thread or something and pass it through them. But let me just quickly show you the method that I've been using to do it. So I'm just going to pick out a little bundle of colours to use. I've sort of got some nice browns, and is that about the quantity that I want? Maybe a little bit more. Let me grab these ones. I do get other bits caught up in my bundles as well. I don't really want that dark blue. And then what I will use is generally a sort of coordinating thread. So because this has got some pale in it, I'm quite happy to use that. And my scissors over here. So I think in the little tutorial it said just grab some threads and wrap them around, but I actually like doing a few stitches through just to get some really solid little baubles that hold really well together. The knot isn't probably as important because it's going to start to sort of hold in the process anyway. So I just start by kind of folding it until I'm happy with the way the colours are distributed around, and that it's a nice little solidish, starting to look like a ball shape. And then I'll just start passing my thread into it. And you want to just kind of be catching your threads in the process. If any sort of come loose, you can just kind of catch them in. And you can keep sort of folding it over onto itself just to get a really good shape. And so I think this is going to be a lovely record of the different sort of projects that I'm working on, because when I've got little bundles of threads from pieces of work, I'll be able to yeah, use the threads that are left over from that particular day, and often the threads come off the fabric as well, so you get a real sense of the project. So these were some of the threads that have actually been coming off as I've been doing this piece, so I'll make those. And even when I've got a spare moment and I've got some spare threads, I'll make some spare little baubles, because I guess there might be some days when I don't get the chance to make a bauble, but I can just take one from my little jar of baubles and add it to the garland. So I think Kim's going to be making a garland to put up at Christmas, but I'm thinking I will put the garland down this side of my piece, or maybe even right around it, who knows. I guess it depends how many would be 30 balls, and I suppose it depends how closely I string them together. So I will be sure to share some updates as the month of January goes on about how it's all working. So if you are interested in these ideas and other things as well, and if you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe, hit the bell button, and you'll be notified when I put up a video. I try and do video most days. Some days I won't, but if I can, I try to do a little video, as long as I've got things to share, projects to do. But seeing I stitch every evening, it's it's not too bad, as long as you don't mind a little bit of shadow on the camera. It is a-okay. Let me just capture. So yeah, that's the idea behind the little bauble, and then I'd once I've finished it off, I'll probably end up off camera putting in a few more stitches. I'd just tie the thread off, but I just keep going till I'm comfortable that it's all really nicely anchored in and really nicely rounded. So I'll just try and catch any of the little loops, like if there's a loop there, I'll just pass my needle through it and then kind of attach it in. If there's a little loop there, again, just sort of twist my needle through it and attach it in if there's any little bumps where I don't want them. But yeah, something like that. And I just think that's going to be incredibly sweet to have all those little baubles. Can't even see where my baubles have gone now. I had my baubles and they have disappeared. Baubles, where are you? Nope. I don't know. Where did they go? Ah, I put them in the tin. I took the orts out and put the baubles in. So yeah, I think they're just going to be really, really lovely. And I thought they could even make a cute little necklace as well. Lots of possibilities for these, so thank you very much, Kim. And I think someone else might have also been planning to do this project. I was trying to find the comment, but I just couldn't find it before I came on. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you're planning to do a daily, or if this has given you an idea to do that. And thanks to whoever originally came up with the idea as well. Could even make a beautiful little Christmas garland as well, or Easter garland. They do look a bit like Easter eggs. So possibilities are endless on that. And then my other idea, which got stimulated by doing the little fabric collages, is I have these cute little bobbins. I have them in different sizes, but I've got these little wood ones. And I was thinking I could take the idea of fabric collage, and because I always have little scraps left, like I save my larger scraps and sort of use those in projects, but sometimes when you've got little scraps like what was left over even after I'd sort of done the cutting out of these pieces, I thought I could make a miniature little snippet roll. So I've just done a little demonstration to show you the idea, even though we're not yet in January. And basically I'd just keep a little jar next to my desk, and I'd pop any tiny little small scraps like this in there, and then when I had a moment I would use a bit of my Yoo-hoo glue and stick them down, and then when I had a moment I'd use some leftover threads, which were the threads that I had left over from the projects, and just stitch them down in whatever sort of decorative stitching, or just a little sort of running stitch to hold them down. So I even like the way the back of this looks. And I just keep a little strip of calico, so I just tore this off the calico, and it stays nice. It almost looks like a little ribbon. And that would be just something I could add to across the month, and at the end of the month I'd have a lovely little decorative strip. And I'm thinking I'll put a little date stamp. I've got a date stamper, so I'll probably date stamp onto a piece of calico and just sew that onto one end of it, with what year it is and the 1st of January in terms of when it's started. So yeah, that's a little idea. And then ultimately they could just be just put it tied on at the side down here, or I might come up with a different project where they would possibly form a little sort of cascading garland, or I guess in future projects I could even use them as little snippets to add into other stitchery projects. So it's just a little idea. You might want to do something similar, have a small little micro snippet roll that you can add your tiniest scraps to, and I just think it looks really attractive. So I hope that's given you an idea. I hope this has given you an idea. I hope you enjoyed seeing the finish of my January calendar, which I am just incredibly happy about, and really great to have it done, and really great to be honouring these gorgeous Stitchery swaps. So take care everyone, and I will most definitely speak to you soon. Bye.